Artist Journal, September 28th, 2022, Berlin. My name is Adrian Pocobelli. I welcome you back, your artist reporter, reporting for duty on a daily basis. I'm amazed that I've gone this far. But when I started this, I had a weird commitment to it, almost an unconscious commitment to it. So let's see where it goes. I was just determined. So it's interesting. Who knows your own unconscious motivations? We could dwell on that all day. Another great work by Wasteman Goldminovich, who I am actually almost trying to give a break on the show. He's been on for like what seems like a week straight, maybe more. We will come back to that. First, I want to thank Colborne from the Museum of Crypto Art for putting in a bid on BTC USDT, a work from over a year and a half ago. So on Super Rare, so offer accepted. It's wonderful to be in that collection, and thank you. Again, screenshots, this is a screenshot of Binance. I was doing a screenshots crypto series. I have a whole screenshots have been kind of elemental to my work. As the secret history of World War III was, and more. So again, thank you, Colborne. Again, kind of as I put in a tweet, a legend in this space. I mean, just the amount of money, the risk that he took, early on betting on this digital art thing. So really great, happy to accept. Agor NFT wrote a really nice tweet. So did a lot of people yesterday. And let me just give Agor some props here. You want to save time and be up to date with what happens on Tezos. I've decided to write tweets about what I listened or watched on YouTube. My first tweet is about the video Artist Journal number 47 by Pocobelli. So thank you, Agor. And he has a really cool tweet where he goes through a lot of the works. So how cool is that? And Agor I've kind of known through messaging through the last few weeks. So anyways, always appreciate that. And the shout out, another shout out actually to Arthropo. And thank you again for all the comments yesterday. They welcomed me into the fold as an advisor of sorts yesterday. And they're going to have a Twitter Spaces tonight. And you'll learn about their Genesis drop, Dystopia. And you can just learn about Arthropo. I am still learning about Arthropo, but it looked cool. Mikey Wilson, Mikey de la Creme, was a part of it. He's also an advisor on there. So what the hey, let's try it out. Let's see what's going on. Let's make things happen. They sure look like they're making things happen. I went to their Instagram just to learn a little more. Community of collectors and digital artists. Thematic NFT drops from world's renowned digital artists. Genesis drop releasing on September 28th, which, my friends, is today. So check that out. Maybe you want to RSVP on that form. And here is their website. So just a quick shout out to them. Monthly collection of NFT art pieces from a thematic blueprint. And where's Mikey? And here's some of the artists, the isolationists. You can check it out. Mikey Wilson there, another legend in the Tezos scene here. Again, I feel pretty new. I guess I did mint in December, but what a community. Noah Addis, who I'm learning about. They're both in Philadelphia. Great pictures. I wish I had pictures like this. Anyway, so let's get back to the show now. Now that the housekeeping is done. So awesome work by Wasteman Goldminovich. Again, this looks like a 1960s cover, or it has a total 60s or 70s feel to it. And it's part of the hotel series that he's been working on here. Let me just bring that up. Here's hotel number 2. He's releasing a ton of work. This is an AI work, both of these. We looked at hotel number 1 yesterday, this one here. So you see it's kind of someone in red. Again, it's not quite like red rum, but we're almost seeing a mix of kind of, and a development, an evolution of, you could say of AI, again, just borrowing, because again, this seemed like it was borrowing or influenced by Strange Thing a little bit, this kind of cloth here. And now we're seeing the red but he makes it his own. And I see this for 15 Tezos. I wanted to get this for 50 cents when there was like 50 or 30 or however many, and I was kicking myself. I'm probably going to buy this before this is published because I love this work, this Le Salon. It was one of those ones, my wallet was empty, so I was just waiting a day. And then Wasteman burnt them all. You know what? I'll buy it for 15. Screw it. Because I was really like, I don't have many AI works, but this one I loved. So anyways, there's an auction for hotel number 3 at 2 Tezos right now. What else do we have here? Let's go through this. Kind of more housekeeping a little bit. Purple Drank has another Savage Sword of Pepe. So if you have claimed any of the previous ones, you can claim on Manifold another one for almost nothing. This is $5. I did the calculation. So for each one you own, I think you can claim one, but there are only 100. So you have to be quick, 24-hour window. And I think I brought up the app.manifold. So yeah, really cool. I want to use manifold.xyz at some point. It's sort of like if you want to put out editions of work on Ethereum, Manifold XYZ seems like where people are going. It looks like a great spot to go. This looks like another awesome work by Purple Drank. And speaking of Pepe, there's this auction that I missed, and it's by Ugor 1996 de la Creme. I think that's Ratcloaksy's brother, and he is doing a play. Ratcloak is boring, Pepe is always fun, so it sounds like all in the family here. So, and then I tracked the auction. It went for 6. So congrats to Ugor, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. As 3A, 5A, 1A knows, or Bazaya, that sometimes I have problems with names. Speaking of Bazaya, we were talking about Bazaya yesterday, and maybe he had a Discord. He doesn't. He only has like he messaged me. He's like, by the way, I don't have a Discord where I announce the things. That's only Adelia. So I got that wrong, but kind of fun to think about. He's got like a personal one that, like most of us, that we haven't really developed too much. So yeah, so if you want to know about Bazaya's work, maybe put on your notifications on Twitter and give him a follow. Start with that, maybe message him and see what else you can do. But yeah, no Discord there. Another awesome work by Gabriel Tezarev. Look at this, the retro record player with some awesome buttons made of cake. Remember the T-Bode reference, right? And yeah, I just think this is awesome. I actually really love how the newspaper is done. And see this little detail here? The previous work is in the paper. That previous work of the cassette, for those that didn't see it. I love this double series here. So I picked one of these up. So remember this work, which was another classic? Kind of great, it reminds me of that fur cup, the surrealist fur cup. Maybe I can quickly bring that up. Who did that? I want to say like Oppenheimer. There's a very famous piece, this one. Yeah, Meret Oppenheim, just classic surrealism. See this fur cup? This is a classic. You'll find it in the textbooks. That's kind of what these works remind me of, as well as Wayne Thiebaud, who we also went into, who is famous for doing like confiture or kind of like cakes and delicacies from the bakery. So again, I just love this work. Edition of 10 for a Tezos 80. And so you see the cassettes are in here. Beautiful details. Again, love the kind of tablecloth or whatever this is. There's a lot going right in this work. And again, you can just imagine this in the museum in your mind, these two works just hanging side by side. And then you compare it to, your local museum or art gallery and you say, hey, this measures up, at least in my mind. New work by Rustic Digital Art, which was interesting. You can't mint everything. So this just kind of triggered something in my mind. And again, I'm not even sure. This looks like a green sea with clouds in the sky. And I just thought of Magritte here. And here is a Magritte that's going to Sotheby's called Galatei, so I guess that's Galatia. And it was just kind of just screamed Magritte a little bit. Could be totally accidental, by the way. And if not, if it's an influence, that's cool too. Remember the quoting, okay? Quoting is good. Quoting is credibility, and maybe this is accidental, who knows, but just kind of interesting. Interesting title there too. Let's not forget with Magritte, again, Galatia is a mythological figure. We'll go into Galatia. I have a work called Galatia on Super Rare. We can go into that at another point. I'm sure we will cross this path again. I was reading this up on Sotheby's site here. It's actually funny that it was made in 1964, but it's dated 1952 because of the dealer. Magritte wanted to basically avoid having to sell it through a certain dealer. So he put 1952. And knowing Magritte, a surrealist, he probably really enjoyed doing that. He probably thought it was hilarious. I'm guessing, or had a little chuckle to himself. But again, with Magritte, the title is a part of the work. A very literary painter. And remember, the Surrealists are a very literary group. Okay, Lautréamont, Rimbaud, especially Lautréamont, the Black Bible, quote unquote, of Surrealism. So André Breton, read the manifesto. There's several manifestos. You can read the first manifesto, and it's kind of enough, if you ask me. Back to the phygital tip. A new work by Gabby Walter. Now, this is interesting. This is a physical work. Most of the work I've collected by Gabby is digital, I believe. I'm almost 99.9% positive. But here is a digital work, and I just wanted to show you what's going on here. So it's 300 Tezos, 1 of 1, oil painting inspired by the Mona Lisa, and oil on canvas. The owner of this token will get the original painting. So this is interesting. So more experimentation with this relationship between the physical art piece and the digital. And so an interesting, kind of trademark Gabby Walter Mickey Mouse, broken Mickey Mouse ears on the Mona Lisa. Looks like a pretty nice rendering. How big is it? 0.5 meter by 60 centimeters. So not a small painting. 300 Tezos. So only for those interested in the physical artwork. I listed the secret in her eyes. The owner of the token will get the original painting, link below. So that is available. And kind of a similar kind of digital painter with this kind of oil look to it, oil painting look to it, is Lavon, who put out a 1 of 1 Incognito 3. Let's just see. Auction bid for 25. So this is also up for auction. And Lavon's work goes for quite a bit of money. Another 15 hours left here. Did I bring up? Yeah. So you see, Vincent van Gogh, portrait of Vincent van Gogh, who is a collector, I believe, of Lavon. And so interesting, buy for 99. So it's not cheap. This is one, I saw it when it came out and I didn't realize that there is such a strong market. So I didn't pick it up, but I guess I should have. Really kind of interesting still lives. And finally, let me just show you Shirley Preston. These still lives, people love these still lives, and I think they're pretty interesting too. And it kind of has some kind of like OGs from the Tezos here. Portrait of Shirley Preston, which looks like it's maybe taken from his Twitter profile, Fidenza Village, who I think he satirizes a lot and kind of appropriates a lot of the Fidenzas, Shirley Preston. So reference to that, really just cool still life here. As far as some pretty nice offers, 45 Tezos not accepted. The last one to be accepted, Mikey Wilson, who's just all over this blockchain for 70. So interesting. Again, you see NFT Biker. So Lavon has been chronicling the Tezos scene, and NFT Biker is an OG. He has started, he's got some sort of app. I've never used it. Most people have used it. So if you go to his Twitter, I'm sure you can track that down. New work by Sumi Reusi, and this is interesting. This is on her main profile. Most of the work we've been tracking of hers is on her AI profile, Sumi Ray AI. And so Here is another work. It's kind of a shift in style. And what's also interesting about this is she wrote about it, and she mentioned that she used DALL-E, and it sounds like these are 3 other works that she had done. And that's kind of one of her trademarks, is putting some of her other works as paintings in paintings. And she's got a poem there. Let's see what she wrote. I brought up her Twitter. "The wind will take us from this room." And she has a poem. And she says, "While creating my work, the tool I primarily used was DALL-E. And then I placed 3 different works I made separately into the work with a collage technique. I fully captured the atmosphere I want to create with the symbols I drew on the table. The gloomy nothingness, the questioning, skeptical attitude in C. David Friedrich's paintings, the individual expression of darkness and social pain in Kathy Kulvitz's lithographs inspired my approach. I tried to capture these emotions in my own style and convey them to you with new experimental expression of my art." Okay. Point being, there is some DALL-E being used in the work, and these are also kind of, again, works in works. I assume you guys know Caspar David Friedrich. He's kind of a big painter in Germany, romantic painter. You'd know him from this. This is like the classic here. His paintings are enormous, like enormous. So they are worth checking out. Like, the scale is unbelievable on some of these works, and which makes them just epic by scale alone. Scale is a very interesting kind of property or quality of art. It's something you really have to think about because it really has an impact. Scale. Okay, here we go. And interestingly, in digital, it's kind of a different story. Scale, we could argue, in the digital world, I mean, it's all on screens, right? I mean, you could put on huge screens, but it's not the same kind of thing, at least when you're conceptualizing it. Because you could put a 700 pixel by 700 pixel on a massive screen. Okay, so Dan Control gave a little preview of a new sort of work he's working on. And you remember him from the Nokia phone, the Game Boy controller, the eraser. So interesting. It looks like he is developing almost what I want to call a like 2000s, early 2000s style of internet art, you know, with a lot of that kind of Windows 95 vibe. So interesting. Tradscape is having a good couple of days here. And he was mentioning he's in the hurricane. So hopefully nothing bad is happening there. Hopefully he is safe and okay. And yeah, let's go to his activity. That's what I wanted to go to. I just wanted to show his market is heating up and he's making very nice sales. Edition of 5 going for 44 on secondary. This awesome one, A Short Rest, going for 70. 120 for this edition of 5. And this kind of elf figure or whatever that is, going for 20. So in the last, though, day, 120, 70, and 44. So people are feeling the tradscape. Let's see if we can get... They are pretty classic works. I mean, Robness V2 dropped a tweet where he sort of gave props to tradscape in that French-Canadian work that was at the Jeannot Lapin Gallery, which is an incredible work. So anyways, more crossover onto Ethereum, right? So let's see, we have another one here. It's got like a medieval vibe. I think he often makes the music himself, which is another kind of really cool aspect. Again, the music to this video podcast is created by Tradscape. It was an NFT I bought. Moving on from him, Kurt Hustle Collective is doing some portraits on 8Bidoo. So you can maybe guess who this is, Haiti Rockette. So he's doing the crew, as he said. He did the myth which is nice. So I'm loving watching this 8Bidoo thing come back. I'm going to actually mint a work on 8Bidoo. I have a few more I need to list, but I'm going to mint a beach, actually. So 1-Bit Necro, whose work we haven't looked at yet. And I want to look, I'm glad this came up. We're going to look at 1-Bit Necro when we have more time. This myth, I thought, is awesome. It's called The Hug, and it's really abstract. And I really like that. Like, I can't really tell what's going on here other than the myth colors and maybe some sky. I find this to be a very beautiful work. So it's interesting, this kind of potential for abstraction on 8Bidoo. This sold for 50. He listed it for 50, so he knew it was a good one too, because he's been listing these for 30. Anonymous collector who loves 8Bidoo. Okay, how many? 514 times 24 works. Like, is that like 10,000 works of art? Serious anonymous collector here. Also, Joe Rogan's dad put out one. I assume this is a portrait of himself. It looks like it. He's got the balaclava. This will be my only 8Bidoo mint, so we might as well look while we can. And a cool portrait. And he also put out an interesting tweet, offers only from here on out, it's a better system. So I think Joe Rogan's dad is kind of fed up with the flippers. Yeah, here we go. It allows me to stay in more control over my own market, and the flippers can F rocks. Okay, so interesting. It's always interesting to find out the market. Just a work by LB here. Available for 4 Tezos. Always interesting to see what he is up to. Into the Screen Void. And a few AI works. We're back to Shilly Preston here. So this kind of reminded me of Eddie Tree, who we were looking at, and also Varya, who we were looking at, in the quality of the plants and everything. Interesting green sky here, by the way. So I just wanted to I want us to take in a lot of AI art so that we can just assess it as good as possible, as well as possible. So again, this looks like a Stonehenge, so nature meets kind of rock, monolith garden. Okay, AI, and more Eddie trees. I thought the colors on these were quite beautiful. You see, there is almost similarity though, and this goes to Diego's point of, well, a lot of AI art start to kind of look the same, quote unquote, and that's not to say anything negative. That's just like, is that something that's going to happen over time, that we're going to start to see certain qualities emerge where we can go, oh yeah, that's likely AI art. But beautiful works. I mean, the color is excellent as well on this. Phantasma number 009. So again, back to the science fiction pulp kind of vibe with a bit of a Escher feel to this one. Meets the plants. So Eddie Tree, continuing to turn my head. And this is also someone in AI that I had forgotten about. I had actually collected some of, is it Stimaeus or by Tria Stimaeus? Stimaeus is an AI with a passion for shapes and color. So I also thought this was interesting. This takes an artist, in this case Matisse, and puts it into AI or doing whatever they're doing. And you see, if it loads up, it's too slow. Here we go. You see, let's not do that. So just interesting variations of Matisse that are somewhat persuasive. And it's really interesting because I actually bought some of these like a year ago before I was even on Tezos. I thought they were just kind of really pretty. They're not too expensive right now. You get them for cheaper than I did. There's another one of Kandinsky, and I was looking at Kandinsky's at the Neue Nationalgalerie in Berlin, which is a recently opened National Gallery, and they had Kandinsky's there, and I was like, I think I like the Kandinsky's that I bought as much as the ones that are in the gallery, that museum. And what was even more interesting is I almost found the ones that I had, like I bought a couple of these, I almost found them weirdly more interesting because they had AI. So it was kind of plain, and it kind of provoked a lot more questions because we've all seen, most of us, Kandinsky's a million times, and nothing against Kandinsky. Nothing against Kandinsky. So, and here's Hilma F. Klimt. And again, I actually had the same feeling when I was in the Neue Nationalgalerie here in Berlin. It was the same sort of sentiment. We'll see if this loads up. You get the picture. So yeah, some really nice works here. And with that, let's just leave it here. So just some early AI experiments from, September to December 2021. With that, maybe I'll see you tonight on the Twitter Spaces I will be attending. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.